If getting it on gets you all up in your head, nervous, distracted, anxious, this is a conversation for you. I'm Darshana Avila, your guide to all things erotic wholeness, sex, intimacy, relationships, queerness, kink, non monogamy, all the things. And I want to talk to you about an experience that is so incredibly common. And yet, many of us struggle alone. Many people just don't really know what to do with all that nervous energy that can bubble up inside even when you objectively in your mind want to lean into a sexy moment, to an encounter with somebody that you're attracted to, that you're into. Maybe it's somebody brand new, maybe it's an established partnership. First, I want you to know it's okay. Nerves, not the end of the world. If you really think about this, or rather, if you really sense into your body, nervousness and excitement, these actually feel very much the same in our bodies. Usually we get a little sped up. Maybe you get a flush of heat. It could be clammy hands. It could be your face gets warm. You might feel tightness in your body. And so when you think about those physical symptoms that I just described, let's talk about what makes sense to do with that. We want to cultivate an opposite experience for ourselves: relaxation. And relaxed arousal, personally, that's my favorite way to go, which is to say that a foundation where we are really taking care of chilling out, slowing down, getting into a receptive state before we escalate into things that have more intensity, that invoke our arousal, that are getting us really turned on. It leads to a more fulfilling and robust experience. I see this in myself all the time, for my clients all the time. So take it from me. Relaxation's a great place to begin. Now, I'm not talking about full-blown therapeutic massage version of relaxation, but some of the things that you might love about a massage, or some of the things that you might really appreciate about meditation, breath work, other practices or experiences in your life that help you to settle your nerves, to really calm down and get present in your body. These are going to be a huge help when it comes to dispelling some of the nervousness that you feel around sex. So, for instance, if you're with a partner, you might say, "Hey, can we lay down and snuggle and hold each other and take some synchronized deep breaths together?" If laying down and holding each other actually feels like too much, another really fantastic way to go: sit back to back. It's a wonderful way to both be connected, but also have a little bit more personal space. The front of our body, eye contact, our soft belly, it's actually a really vulnerable part. And for some of us, that facing front swiftly early on can actually activate us even more. So, back to back is a great way to go. You can lay side by side, you can hold hands, take some deep breaths, ground, allow for slowness, be intentional about it. That's one really fantastic way. Another thing that helps with nerves is talk about it. Good God, so many people do not want to actually have meaningful conversations about what's going on in their sex life, in their bedroom life. And yet, if we can't talk about it, how on earth are we going to expect things to change? It doesn't work like that. It's not just like magic. So, learning how to have curious, compassionate conversations, ideally not when you are right about to have sex or right in the middle of sex, but sometime prior, sometime when you're resourced, it's a neutral moment. Sit down with your boo and be like, "Hey, I want to share something with you. You available to hear this? I've been getting really nervous. I want to connect intimately with you. I'm super attracted to you. And what's coming up for me is speak your truth." When you lean in with vulnerability, and it's not a make wrong, you're not saying, "Oh, you're creating this situation," something like that. It's more about sharing a tender part of yourself with somebody who we would hope and assume cares. Like, share what's going on and say, I'm looking for a little support with this. Are you open to starting slower? Can we maybe spend some time on sensuality, on relaxation, on things that feel a little bit lower stakes and more accessible before we escalate into sexual activity? Because our pacing for the vast majority of us is really off. It's far too quick. We don't give our nervous systems a chance to acclimate. We go from 0 to 60. 1 minute it's like you're sitting there having a conversation. The next minute your clothes are being ripped off and you're immediately frantically going into a full-blown sexual experience. Now, don't get me wrong. If that is a mutual yes, if tearing each other's clothes off and having a quickie or not quickie, but moving into it quickly is the thing that feels really good and really right to any two or more people, have at it. But we're assuming that that actually wouldn't be working for you. If you're dealing with some nervousness, a slower pace gives you an opportunity to pause, to check in, to connect with your partner, to have some heart centered dialogue. Talk about what's happening. Oftentimes, when we speak it out loud, we lessen the intensity of our experience. Holding it inside with fearfulness, maybe with embarrassment, shame, whatever else might be going on for you, it has a way of exacerbating that nervousness, making you feel even more stuck in that state. But when you speak it out loud and share it with your person, and you have the opportunity for some empathy from them, a hug, some of the things that I've already described, like really slowing down, breathing, conscious touch that isn't about like really going straight in for the things that are going to be arousing and stimulating, but instead something that's more soothing, sensual. Play with each other's hair, tickle, scratch, massage, bring some play toys in, feathers and furs and what have you, and make a luscious, luxurious experience out of settling your nervous system before you move toward more aroused states and more overtly sexual activity. I think you're going to find that it really not only helps you with the nervousness, but it adds a lot of depth and dimensionality to the sex itself. Because starting from that relaxed, receptive state and then building at a gradual pace that moves like this, it's wave-like. You rise, you rest, you rise, you rest. Instead of being on an escalator that can only go up, that really does enhance and expand the pleasure, the connection, the goodness that is available to you. So I really am curious to hear, how does this sound? If you put this into practice, please come into the comments, tell me about it. And of course, make sure that you are subscribed here so that you don't miss out on future wisdom drops and nuggets such as this. Have fun out there.